that are not explored, and we need to sell these to both local and international investors. We also have the Kalubwa River, famously known as the River of Rocks. In Kasempa, we do understand that in Southern Province, Mazabuka is the sweetest town. But in Northwestern Province, as an education institution, we realize that we also have the sweetest town in Mwinilunga.
CAPA has developed the One Health strategic plan aimed at promoting One Health, which includes human, animal health, and environment. In this regard, it has called on all cooperating partners to support and realize CAPA's strategic plan.
over for the live parliamentary proceedings. And before the House went on a 20-minute health break, Sesheke, Member of Parliament, Mr. Romeo Kangombe, was debating to the motion of thanks, the President's address, a motion that was moved by Ms. Sefulo Siveso, who is Mwandi Member of Parliament, that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. This motion was seconded by Kafla-Futa Member of Parliament, Mr. Geoffrey Mulebwa. And we have heard from other members of Parliament debate to this motion, and these include Lunte Member of Parliament, Mr. Mtotwe Kafwaya, Namwala Member of Parliament, Mr. Herbert Mapani.
Mr. Speaker.
To come back to the House. And earlier I was saying some members of Parliament have added their voice to the motion of thanks, and others do include Mapatizia Member of Parliament, Ms. Imelda Mnashabantu, Kana Member of Parliament, Mr. Binwa Umpundu.
Yes, Taza, the bells are still ringing, of course, for the members to come back to the House for business to continue on this. Of course, it's a requirement that 1/3 of the total number should be present for business of the House actually to continue. So we continue looking at what has been discussed on the floor of the House so far. And there was also an announcement by the Honorable Madam Speaker in which she informed the members and recognized the presence in the public galleries of pupils as well as teachers from Macha Secondary School in Choma District. And on behalf of the National Assembly, she warmly welcomed the visitors.
And the second announcement was on the composition of standing committees for the third session of the 13th National Assembly. We will get to details of this announcement at a later stage. And the House went on to consider questions for oral answer under Standing Order 74, and the House did consider 3 questions.
Yes, there were also 2 bills that were presented. These were presented by the Minister of Justice, and this was the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 19 of 2023. And this bill has been referred to the Committee on Legal Affairs, Governance and Human Rights, and the report of the committee will be considered on Wednesday, 11th October 2023. The Minister of Justice also presented the Penal Code Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 20 of 2023, and the bill has also been referred to the Committee on Legal Affairs, Governance and Human Rights. The report of the committee will be considered on Wednesday, 11th October 2023. There was also another bill that was supposed to be considered, and this was that was supposed to be presented. This is the Constituency Development Fund Bill, which was supposed to be presented by the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. However, this bill has been deferred to a later date.
Order.
So we go back to the floor of the House.
When business was suspended, the House was considering the motion moved by the Honourable Member for Mwandi that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address, and the Honourable Member for Sesheke had just finished debating. Any further debate? The Honourable Member for Chiengi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I would like to thank this House for the opportunity that has been given to the people of Chiengi to add a voice. Thank you. Somebody says, welcome back. Thank you so much. To add a voice to Thank you. To add a voice to this important address, speech by the President. Mr. Speaker, I will not take much of the House's time. I want to say for the first time since I came back to Parliament for the second term, this was the most disappointing speech. And this speech, actually, Mr. Speaker, it was like the previous speech, but, you know, written using the other kind of English. I think it's like what we do as we're going to night schools, we're trying to get some education, where you use the L chart. And it gives you, you just put what you've written, then it changes the language. So this is what happened, because His Excellency was here to give the progress report on what has been achieved for what he came to report again to this House in the previous, in the second session. Mr. Speaker, quickly, the President spoke about securing debt restructuring agreement, and I was wondering the impact it has had on the people of Zambia. Because if that indeed has had an impact, the cost of living by now should have been, to be the evidence reflecting that indeed this has added value to our country. Mr. Speaker, I'm so concerned that the President spoke so much about things that I felt like I've mentioned, which were not necessary to someone in Chienge. Maybe we should allow, as a House, the head of state or all of us to speak in our vernacular, so that the people that we've sent us here can be able to understand really what is being said to them. That report, Mr. Speaker, if I look at cost of living and the inflation rate, which is now at 9.9, to me it looks like that's double digit. And there has not been much of the difference. If indeed the inflation is falling, Mr. Speaker, then the cost of living should not be what it is now. Everyone is complaining of what is happening in our country. They cannot even afford 3 meals. Nothing that we can afford. We have fuel, which is so expensive. Mealie meal is so expensive. You talk of lending rates from the bank is so expensive. And when the President is saying they've made some progress, I really got concerned. I want the President to tell the nation the truth, the way it is. Because the cost of living, the President avoided, and that was everyone's desire to hear, the President to talk on how this government is going to erase the cost of living, which is so high. And he didn't even mention that, because he knew very well that it's practically impossible to bring down a bag of 25 million to 50 kwacha as promised. Mr. Speaker, and the President went on to talk about rain-fed growing of maize in our country, and talking about irrigation. Mr. Speaker, how are the people of Chienge going to do this irrigation? Who is going to grow this maize? It's good that theory is there. Let's be practical. I think this is just some kind of a joke. The President went ahead to talk about construction of 149 secondary schools, which were built by MMD, though he didn't mention PF. The truth of the matter, Mr. Speaker, that we have Kalungwishi Secondary School in Chienge, which is not among these, which the President is saying all the structures which were constructed by the previous governments, this government has completed. I find that to be untrue, and that is quite upsetting for the people of Chienge. And I also want to add more one voice, is that the rule of law should not be selective. I was really disappointed to see that we have foreigners who come in our country not as diplomats but as criminals, landing in our country at night but being treated as diplomats. It is wrong. It's very wrong. If they came in as diplomats, it's different. And they were given special treatment, being driven in a minibus when we have Casalangas. They were supposed to be driven in Casalangas and kept in the filthy, filthy cells where I've also spent as a diplomat in this country. Mr. Speaker, rule of law. Here, Emmersdale Police, where I was in the cells. Next room, there were 31 boys who have never seen the courtroom since February. I have a list of them. Why would the government just concentrate on politicians when we have poor people languishing in these cells? What is going on? Is rule of law only applicable to members of parliament who are not UPND? What about those who are languishing there? Let's be serious when we are being addressed here. It's a reason, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying the president should come maybe and speak in vernacular so that the nation will be able to judge his speech, not the elites. Most of the elites are UPND, to them there's nothing wrong keeping someone in cells as far as February up to date. And they've never seen a courtroom. It's just wrong and it's human. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you, but I want to insist. The president failed to address how he's going to bring down this high cost of living. He deliberately decided not to tell the nation, but the nation is listening and is watching. The bag of mealie meal should be brought down to 50 kwacha as promised. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah.
The Honorable Member for Siavonga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, allow me to just make a few comments on the presidential speech that was delivered on Friday. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the president could be one of the few honest human beings in Zambia. And I'm going to demonstrate that. He said he came to the House to give us a report on what the government has done and is doing to bring hope. And in that, the president made it very clear, crystal clear, that it's not a smooth path. It has not been a smooth journey. It had ups and downs. Yes. There are a lot of challenges in everything that the government has been trying to do. But today we can have people. We can have people that would say the president didn't say anything. That is being dishonest, Mr. Speaker, because one of the things that the president spoke about is the increased CDF. And it's in every constituency. In every constituency, people are employed as teachers. In every constituency, people are employed as health workers. In every constituency, CDF went there, and things are happening. Unless any of these constituents, one of the constituents, things are not happening. But the people in that constituency, our children, our nieces, our nephews, they have gone for skills development. They have gone to, for skills development. Everywhere, including Chiang, of course, yes. We have those people that have gone there. This is not a lie. We have people that, we have classrooms being constructed in there. When you talk about development under the UPND, in the space of 2 years, look at the Chingola Kasumbaresa Road. Look at the Kasama Airport. And in 10 years, more than 10 years, what was happening? Nothing was happening, and you had the instruments of power. You had the funds at your disposal. You borrowed more than what you could actually handle. But what did you do with it? Did we see the airport getting improved? Did we see the roads? Did we see CDF? Did we see people getting employed? It was a big zero. But when somebody comes here and says, yes, the bag of mealie meal is out of reach for many Zambians, and he admits to say, yes, we are not like others that would beat you when you complain. We accept and we admit that, yes, the mealie meal price is out of reach, but we are doing everything possible to address the same situation. That is being honest. You see, don't put a collar and you want to be called an honest person like this one which I put here. No. Let your actions speak. Because even the other book that I will not mention says you will know them by their fruits. Simple. It's as simple as all that. You will know them by their fruits. Not what they preach, but what they do. So the government of the Republic of Zambia, under the able leadership of Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, the New Dawn government has done what no government has ever done. That you know, no government has employed the numbers that this government in 2 years has done. So when you are saying this government has not done anything, I wonder, because we found this nation even under load shedding. Is it still there in Chieng? I doubt, because we need somebody else to come and tell us the truth, because that's not true. The truth is that this country has seen what it has never seen before. So the country, yes, we have challenges, but I can rest assure you that the government is in the right path. And the path that the government has taken is non-discriminatory. Everybody else is carried. We used to hear not leaving anyone behind, but we are being left behind. Just yesterday, when we were debating, we heard, and I experienced that. I was a member of parliament where others were given more money, others were given less money, but not under this government. Under the New Dawn government, everyone will get the equal share. What I get is what Honorable Kafaya will get. Yes. What I'm getting is that's what he's obtaining in his constituents. Yes. I've got a Land Cruiser, he's got a Land Cruiser. Yes. So today, you cannot say we don't share this cake equally. Yeah. We are giving everyone as a Zambian, just simply as a Zambian. So let's be honest with each other. Yes, things are not okay, and we are trying, and the government is trying its best to address every situation. I want you to know that people always get jittery when we talk about the past regime. No, we will not. We shouldn't do that. Because when we talk about the devil, the Satan, you know, people, we are talking about Satan because there are those wrong things that we have done. So when we are talking about the past, we should not be jittery because we want to project ourselves in the right direction, that we don't go back to do not reverse. We don't go back to those violences. When somebody is saying there is no rule of law this time around, are you living in Zambia or we are a foreigner, have just landed? Because honestly speaking, what we are seeing, the bloodshed, right now, I hear the tear gases are getting expired somewhere. Because they are not being used. Those days, that was the order of the day. Anytime we could do just, I remember one instance, you know, when we were in Sesheke, when the president was supposed to go into the bush, I was there. These people, Mr. Speaker, thank you.
The Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and greetings from the people of Ron constituency.
There is a point of order on who?
Mr. Speaker, but you are the one who told me that let him finish. Then I give you your point of order.
No, I said I didn't say that I'll give you, but I've given you a point of order on who.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my point of order is my honorable colleague who was debating, the honorable colleague, Honorable Mulunda. Mr. Speaker, although my honorable colleague, his constituency is in the southern province, he was happy to talk about the Kasama Airport and not the Livingston Airport, Hari Mwangankumbla Airport. But my point of order is in terms of standing orders number 206 in terms of dress code for members. Mr. Speaker, the official dress code for male members shall be A formal executive suit or a pair of long trousers, a shirt, a necktie, and jacket. B, a toga. C, a decent traditional attire such as the siziba, or the one I wore on Friday. D, a safari suit with long or short sleeves and a scarf on the neck. Mr. Speaker, these are the recognized attire that you should see in this assembly. My honorable colleague is wearing a shirt. Just wearing a shirt. Is he in order? Is it in order, Mr. Speaker, to wear a shirt and pretend that is a safari suit when we all know what a safari suit is? I think you're serious already, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. I think from here what I can see is that the suit wearing Mr. Chanda, who's just come in, and the Honorable, they are similar suits and are of acceptable standards. May we make progress. Honorable Member for Sinazongwe. Honorable Member for Ron.
Mr. Speaker, I want to repeat to thank you for giving me an opportunity to add the voice on the presidential address on Friday. And as I do that, I bring fraternal greetings from the good people of Ron constituency. Mr. Speaker, I just want to zero in on 2 or 3 salient issues that I want to concentrate on over the address that the President presented to this August House with the theme of building on the socio-economic gains for improved livelihoods and a better Zambia. Mr. Speaker, from the word go, the President emphasized on the economic transformation and job creation. Mr. Speaker, the President talked about job creation and improving the economy by telling the Zambian people that we must increase production, we must be productive, and also we must make sure that we add value to what we are producing. Mr. Speaker, this is a very good message and it gives hope to the Zambian people. But I'm set as a back, Mr. Speaker, in the sense that whilst the President is talking about these conditionalities to improve the economy of this country and also create jobs, I want to find out as to why some of his lieutenants are actually pulling in the opposite direction. What I mean, Mr. Speaker, is when the President talks about production and adding value, I'll cite an example in my constituency, Ron, where people have actually come to learn how to farm. They are peasant farmers. We had 9,024 beneficiaries on the FISIP, and the President was quick to say that FISIP is not going away, FISIP is going to stay here. But why is the Minister of Agriculture reducing the numbers of beneficiaries? Where we had 9,024, today, Mr. Speaker, in Ron constituency, we have 7,500. And we have 37,000 farmers. And out of the 7,000 farmers, only 7,000 are going to benefit. How are we going to meet the aspirations of the President? We need to help the President to achieve his targets that he has set. Equally, Mr. Speaker, I want to acknowledge and thank the President for giving hope that indeed it's time that we stop depending on rain-fed agriculture. He talked about opening up the dams and starting to reinvest in harvesting the rainwater that we lose most of the time during the rain season. This is a very good gesture, and it calls for all of us to ensure that we start harvesting this water so that we can start also doing the winter maize. Once we start doing the winter maize, Mr. Speaker, this country shall have bumper harvest. And when we do that, the law of demand says that when there is high productivity or when there is high supply, the prices of anything goes down. So we are only going to attain the lowering of the prices of meal when we have a lot of production and, of course, adding value. And, of course, also, Mr. Speaker, it was encouraging that the President is calling upon all of us, even sector workers, that we must now start looking at having at least an hectare of land to produce maize. He said this by creating a credit window where everyone who wants to do farming can go there and borrow money. And I'm urging all those that are on FISIP who could not actually benefit from FISIP to go and look at the credit window and borrow money and take it there. When we borrow money, it will actually help us to pay back, because FISIP people does not pay back, and some of the FISIP beneficiaries do not even farm. They don't even have farms. So, Mr. Speaker, that was actually giving hope to the nation. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of mining, the President said that vendetta mining is coming back, and we are glad that conditionalities have been laid on the table. 1 billion to be reinvested, 250 million to be paid to the suppliers, and all these other things. But my worry is, I want to urge the Minister of Mines, who I believe is not going to relent, not to treat vendetta this time around with kid gloves. We want you, Minister of Mines, to ensure that what has been agreed with vendetta and the government is actually fulfilled. It is going to spur the economy of this country. I am also glad that vendetta has actually come with more beautiful conditions. And I want to ask the Minister of Mines, or urge the Minister of Mines, to actually also look around the mining sector and ensure that what is going to be given to vendetta employees at KCM is also given to the other mining companies. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the Minister of Mines also, and thank him, through him, thank the government, that shaft number 28 in Wansha is actually now up and running. And I only hope, Minister of Mines, that there will be no turning back on this project. The people of Wansha, the people of Ron constituency are very excited, and they're looking forward to seeing number 28 shaft running and contributing positively to the economic change of this country. But my word, Mr. Speaker, is that as KCM is coming back, let the people, the President talked about creating jobs here, creating jobs. Let the people of Chirabombo, Chingola, and where KCM is operating be beneficiaries of this employment. Equally, in Luansha, Minister of Mines, I urge you and I ask you that you should help us to ensure that the people of Ron constituency be the first beneficiaries of job creation when it comes to employing people to work at shaft number 28 in Wansha. It is not going to mean anything if other people come from somewhere and come and take up jobs that can be done by the locals. There are jobs, yes, that can be done by the experts, but we want the locals to benefit and appreciate the presidential speech. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to thank you for according me an opportunity to add my voice on the presidential speech. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Sinazongwe.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity given to debate and support the presidential speech, which was delivered eloquently with a lot of substance. I'll delve much of my speech, Mr. Speaker, on two issues, namely mining and agriculture. But before I delve into those issues, Mr. Speaker, allow me to shower praises to the President for having been so magnanimous in identifying where problems are. That is on the price of meal. That's what a great leader does. You accept where there are shortcomings, because that's the only way you can address them. I say kudos to the Republican President for having been so magnanimous to identify. I do recall, Mr. Speaker, way back 2022, December, when we had the electricity shortage, the President flew to Mamba to have the issue sorted out, and that was sorted out to date, Mr. Speaker. Load shedding is a thing of the past. Going forward, Mr. Speaker, the President talked of irrigation, especially when he indicated that his desire is to see to it that Zambians farmers start harvesting twice a year. In my own words, I can say he supported winter farming. Mr. Speaker, that is the only way that we can iron out the food or maize deficit that we have in the country. When you talk of Sinazongo, Mr. Speaker, we have a lot of good land, wetlands along the lake shores of Lake Kariba. What has been the main problem, Mr. Speaker, is that these farmers who are farming along the lake shores, they haven't been supported with farming inputs for a while. This should be a turning point for the people of Sinazongwe to say the new Dawn administration, led by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, they will look at what was a problem now, because Sinazongwe alone, using the lake shores and also other waterfronts, we can have enough maize to feed the district and also take out of the district. So it is important, Mr. Speaker, that going forward, agriculture shouldn't be treated once per year, as echoed by the President. We should go the twice approach. Because when you look at areas like Ruapura province, Mr. Speaker, there is abundant water, a lot of wetlands. But what are we doing as a country? What are we doing to utilize those water bodies? There is nothing that we are doing other than just catching fish. So we need to turn those fortunes by investing much in agriculture. It might not be maize, Mr. Speaker, but even rice. Those areas in Ruapula, there is too much or great potential in white rice farming. So that is the area that we need to address as a country, looking at what the President's directive is through his speech. Now, coming to mining, Honorable Minister of Mine, we say kudos for having brokered a deal, or for Vendetta to have come back to Zambia to come and run their own mine. Because what had happened, that was a coup d'etat, Mr. Speaker. The owners of Vendetta, of KSM were Vendetta, owning not less than 79% shares. So what had happened, going forward as a country, we don't need to see such a situation. Wherever there is a problem, Mr. Speaker, the problem can be amicably sorted out without going to the courts.
There is a point of order. Against who?
Mr. Speaker, I've been following his very interesting debate up to the time he made an insinuation, which is a breach of Standing Order 65B, when he said what happened to Vedanta, the investor, was being insincere. As he knows very well, the honorable member knows the insincerity that was there. And he labeled that to be a coup d'etat. Mr. Speaker, a coup d'etat is very well known. And the Honorable Minister of Defense is there very quiet, and he should have been very concerned.
Honorable Member.
Is the Honorable Member in order to insinuate, Mr. Speaker, that what happened to that insincere investor who is making the same pledges as he used to, which never were fulfilled, and ended up in that kind of divorce, to label that, to allege that was coup d'etat? In what context is it in order to use that term? When the coups are described, Mr. Speaker, in the Defense Act properly, is it in order, Mr. Speaker? I seek your serious guidance on this very interesting matter of this insincere investor who is yet to prove that is worth being trusted again. I seek your serious guidance.
Honorable Member, I listened to you quite attentively. And I think it's on record that even Madam Speaker earlier emphasized that we should avoid debating our points, because this is what our standing orders say. So my hands are tied for me to make any ruling whatsoever, because you've debated your point of order. May the honorable member continue.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Now, coming to the benefits that were highlighted by the Minister of Mines regarding the package that Vendetta intends to offload to into the country. My area of concern, Mr. Speaker, is on two folds. One, it is on the 20 million US dollars that will be plowed back into the communities where this vendetta is domiciled. To say this approach, which is a very good approach, that these mines that are mining within the country should be heavily plowing back into the communities. I urge this not to end with vendetta. All the mines that are mining locally, wherever they are mining from, the community should heavily and greatly benefit. The 20 million should just, United States dollars that will be offloaded by vendetta should not just start and end with vendetta. We want all the mining firms mine within Zambia, irrespective of whatever minerals they are mining. Zambians should benefit. We have been on terraces for quite some years. Now, Zambians should benefit their resources so that at least the country, even the population, wherever these mines are domiciled, can also have their lives being uplifted. Otherwise, I say kudos to the New Dawn government that again there is an announcement which is yet to come, but shortly about to come, that is concerning Mopani. It really needs to be unlocked so that the people on the copper belt, they can benefit. Sinazongwe is seated right now with about 6 coal mines. We need also to start benefiting these investors that we have. There should be a deliberate policy that they have to heavily plow back in all the areas so that at least some of these, like the bad roads, they have to be maintained by the mines that are transporting their minerals. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and heavily support the President's speech.
Thank you. Any further debate? The acting leader of government business, adjournment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the House do now adjourn.
As no notice of an item for debate on the motion of adjournment of the House has been received, I put a question. The question is that the House do now adjourn. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House